Hello and welcome everybody to Tom Pace Mentors channel. I'm Tom and I want to talk to you today about how we are influenced. Where do we get fed? How do we get the information we need in order to be successful? How do I get the information I need in order to be successful? I define success as achieving worthwhile goals. Are you successful? If you don't have goals, how can you be successful? We need to have a target. We need to have something to accomplish, some way to measure what it is we're trying to accomplish. For instance, I know a lot of you that are out there want to become a millionaire. That means that you have a net worth of $1 million. Now, some of you might already be millionaires but are not aware of it, because millionaires, or we'll talk about our financial net worth. Our financial net worth is our assets minus our liabilities equals our net worth. And I see some of you might be millionaires already because of the value of your home. The only problem with that is you're not going to sell your home, because if you sell your home, you're not going to have a place to live. Now, if you're older, there are things you can do with your home that will give you an income. But we're only talking about people over the age of, say, 70, that I would recommend you use your home to generate an income. Now, you also can generate income from your home if you have an extra bedroom that's not being utilized. You can rent out that bedroom. Now, I wouldn't recommend you do Airbnb. You might want to look for a tenant that would be more long-term, more consistent, somebody that's going to be there for 6 months to a year. And if I were going to rent out a room in my house, I'd want to, number one, make sure we're compatible and that person would inspire me to take action. The people that are around us are the people that influence us the most. If you're around somebody that is sloppy, somebody that's apathetic, somebody that is a victim, that mentality will rub off on you. So I want to be surrounded by people that are energetic, people that are enthusiastic, people that are learning, people that are growing, people that are part of the solution, people that have obstacles in their life, but they overcome them. That would be the kind of person I would want as a roommate in my house. In Oklahoma City, I could easily rent an extra room in our house for $500 to $1,000. Now, if people understood the value of living in our house and being around us, I think they might pay as much as $10,000 to live in our house for 1 month. Because if someone lived in our house for a month, they would see a functioning family. A family that started out financially with not very much, but a family that now has a good financial success. I have achieved several of my financial goals, and I'm only 64 years old. Now, some people in the millenniums and people that are just starting out, they want to be, and I did the same thing. I wanted to have a large financial net worth, when I was in my 20s, when I was in my 30s. I didn't really become financially successful until I was in my late 40s, early 50s. That's when I really became financially successful. Having different streams of income, but having assets. I have zero debt. How did I get to zero debt? And that includes the houses. We have 2 family houses. We have our primary house here in Oklahoma City, and then we have a house in Kimberling City, which is just outside of Branson, Missouri, on Table Rock Lake. Both houses are completely paid for. All cars are paid for. We have zero debt. And then we have cash in the bank. And then we have investments in real estate, and we have investments in the stock market. And I can tell you quite honestly, the stock market in the last 30 days has not brought me a lot of happiness. It has brought me some stress, some anxiety, some feelings that, am I making the right decision? Do I need to change my investment strategy? Now, luckily, I study a lot about what Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger do with Berkshire Hathaway. And I also understand dollar cost averaging. When the stock market is down, like it has been in my case for the last 30 to 60 days, this is a time to buy more stock. And it's hard to do. On Monday, say, I made an investment, and by Friday, it was worth only 80% of what the money I put in. I lost 20%. And then the next week, it continued to go down, but I continued to buy more stock. I own stock in companies I would like to own. Companies that have a great product or a great service, that have a great management team, that have a great strategy for growth. Those are the kind of companies I invest in. Now, one of the companies that I've invested in is Boeing. They manufacture aircrafts for the commercial industry, but also for militaries and governments throughout the world. Boeing has an incredible amount of very highly intelligent people. They have a great workforce. As with many companies right now, there's been a lot of turbulence. There's been a lot of issues about COVID and about mandates. And then, of course, with Boeing, they had a jet that was supposed to be a great jet, and it is a great jet, the Boeing 737 MAX. Every pilot I've talked to about this Boeing 737 MAX love it. They say it's the best aircraft they've ever flown. But if you turn on the media, it's like the worst aircraft, because it did have 2 crashes, but a lot of that had to do with the inexperience of the pilots and the lack of training. Of course, we don't hear that in the media, but that does drive down the prices. And with COVID, the surges in COVID, the cancellation of orders for the aircraft. But I really believe in Boeing. I believe that Boeing is a great company, and I would be proud to work at Boeing, and I am proud to own stock in Boeing. Their price has continued to go down in the last 60 days, and I've continued to buy more stock. So, going back to where do we get our information? How do we get our information to continue to grow? Number one, a huge factor are books. The books that I read, I try to read a book every week. Now, there was a book that was recommended to me by my mentor, and it's out of print, but you can order, it's out of copyright law, so anybody can print this book. And I don't know exactly who prints this, but this is, the website is literally, I'm going to spell it for you because I can't pronounce it right now, Literay, licensing.com. I got this on Amazon. I think I paid like $30. The name of this book is The Sale Begins When the Customer Says No. I am a salesman, you're a salesman, we're all salespeople. When you tell your kids no, do they stop asking? They continue to ask, and they ask in different ways. First, they might use just verbal methods. Then they might use pouting or crying or begging. But they don't stop when you say no. They continue on. So this book was written in the early 1900s, I believe, and I'm reading this book for the second time. I'm on page 5. There's a lot of print. There's a lot of information. There are some interesting stories in this book. If I go from being able to persuade someone to take action, that's what sales is. I see something that will benefit somebody, and I want them to take that action. For instance, I know that exercise will help us to have better quality lives and will help us to have longer lives if we exercise in the proper way. And so one of the things I encourage my kids and my wife to do is to exercise, and myself. My coworkers, I encourage them to exercise. I run 5 days a week. Now, I say I run, but I really jog at about 11 to 12 minute pace, depending on my energy level. I would like to run faster. My ego says I should run faster. I would look better to others if I was running faster. But the truth is, I run because it makes me feel physically fit, which I am. It gives me more energy, and it helps me to have a higher self-worth. Plus, I get to see all kinds of things as I travel and run. So exercise is really important, and I just tried to convince that to you through this video. Now, some of you are going to say you're not going to exercise. Fine. Some of you say you hate exercise. My father, who passed away at 91 years old, exercised the majority of his life, whether it was just by going for a walk at a brisk pace or whether it was other ways. My father exercised almost all the way through his life, and so did his mother. My grandmother died at 89, and she walked to the grocery store every day in the small town of Perry, Oklahoma, to get her groceries. Now, she could have got her groceries one time for the week, but she bought small amounts and walked to the store and back every day since she was about 70 years old. And she lived the way I want to live. She lived her maximum potential up to about a month before she passed away. And in that last month of her life, she was in the hospital the majority of the time, in and out of the hospital. But she had really good health until she was 89 and 10 months old, or 89 and 11 months old. She wanted to live to be 90. She didn't quite make it, but she exercised. So exercise is very important. I watch YouTube videos. I watch YouTube videos every day, and I also have Audible. I listen to books on tape. Right now, I'm listening to the book by Will Smith. Will Smith just came out with an autobiography. It's about a 16-hour audio, 16-hour audio. I'm listening to it at the speed of 140, and I think that's easy for me to comprehend it at 140. I'm getting the overall effect. There's some really good stories in there. So there's some great reasons to be motivated. There's some great reasons to take action. A lot of Will Smith, what he does, are things that I incorporate in my life and that we do. There are some things with Will Smith, obviously, I don't do. I saw his house on YouTube. It's an unbelievable, huge house with huge expenses. I don't need that much house. I have a nice sized house. We utilize almost all of it. Watching videos. I find people on YouTube that have good content to help me to be successful in these areas. Number one, my relationship with God. Number two is my health. Number three is my family and friends. Number four is work and investments. It is important for us to work. There are no free lunches. People are looking for get-rich-quick schemes, things that they can do without working. Working is very, very important for the self-image. We need to do something for self-image and self-worth. We need to be doing something physically or mentally to help God and to serve people. It's very important for us to help people to become successful, sharing our knowledge with others. I appreciate you watching this video. I hope you share it with other people and that you like this or you don't like it. You either give a like comment or a thumbs down comment or a click, and that you comment in the comment section. What do you want to hear about? What information can I share with you? I have 64 years of experience and I have a lot of successes. I've achieved a lot of goals. What can I do to help you to achieve your goals? Put it in the comment and I will talk about it next time. Thank you very much for tuning in.